Are you like? All he needed was like a dude to prove he was from Santa Monica, right?
And you want to know what's funny, Lee, is as soon as Saul gets in the ring with them, or either he at super middleweight, we have what is it, Gilberto Ramirez right now, who's undefeated. All of that goes away if he steps in the ring with either of those men. I hope Triple G understands that.
I agree. I agree.
There will
What?
be no Mexicans going, yeah, I'm taking Triple G over Saul. I don't see that happening.
No, Cinnamon will get the nod from the Mexican crowd, but they'll get the fight that they want. And look, the reality is this: Canelo doesn't want a piece of Triple G at
Right. You
middleweight.
seen that tweet?
Come on,
Yeah. He said one day.
bitch.
One day.
Listen, bitch. Know your role. You're 26. Sit in the back
24.
seat. 24. Sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, bitch. Sit in the back seat. You're 24. Know your role and stay in your lane.
That's right.
And maybe in 2 years there's a big money fight.
Yeah.
Which is
You'll
basically
be 35. You'll be 27.
Yes.
26. I like that a little better.
26 with 2 more years of fights under your belt. I think he got really big for his britches. Mayweather timed his fight perfectly and just got an inexperienced kid.
He's 22, Lee. 22 years old.
Know your role, stay in your lane. I mean, The Rock says, as they say in the business, know your role and shut your mouth. Canelo knew his role and shut his mouth. I'll give him a lot of credit. Canelo knew that he would be Gennady Golovkin's bitch. And I'll say
They all do.
Hey, for all the Mexican fans, I'll say it again. Canelo's afraid he's a bitch, okay? He's not
trying to get hate
Wait,
mail this
by the
morning.
way, I'll say it. He's smart for saying that he's afraid and that he's a bitch, which makes him a smart fighter.
Lee, if we don't remember, 2 fights ago, Carl Froch tweeted out, I will never step in the ring.
But wait,
with
I could step in a bigger pile of dog crap at this
Yeah.
moment. Let us go back to Mildred Taylor, shall we? And Julio Cesar Chavez, everybody's favorite. Chavez did. Oh, nobody will want to see that fight again. Why would I want to do that fight again? Nobody wants to see me fight Mildred Taylor again. What?
He did it 4 years later.
Yeah, right. When you needed money to be the emperor of Culiacan, Mexico.
Maldrick was already destroyed by
Yes,
Tarek North, 2 divisions
right.
higher.
Yeah.
That was a great.
That is exactly what's happening here. I'm telling you,
there.
Canelo.
Right after 2 weeks in the hospital with Chavez, let's jump 2 divisions and take on terrible Terry Norris. Why not?
Don, you're under contract with Don King. Congratulations. You win. Terrible Terry Norris.
Right.
And then once you're all beat up by terrible Terry Norris, hey, here's Chavez again. I'm telling you, Don King is the smartest human being on the planet. And Canelo, being a fan of Chavez, obviously, he's following the same book. Come on.
The one guy that I think they have to convince that Canelo is not ready, Lee, is Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya is the major factor in this because Oscar's had a history of rushing his superstars, believing everybody is him.
I think he's ready for Cotto.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Ready for Cotto.
Everybody's ready. Yeah. Look, I think we could get Will ready for Cotto.
Yeah, no, Cotto is ready for his check too. That's what Cotto's hanging on the outside for. Triple G, that if HBO really wants to push it, they're gonna have to sign Cotto probably to $5 million more than if he was to face Canelo. If I'm Miguel Cotto right now, all I'm waiting for is Floyd's decision. And if Floyd ain't calling me, because Lee, if Floyd did fight Miguel Cotto in September, it wouldn't be for the fact that he's staying at middleweights. He would go there, he would beat Cotto, he would then go on the podium and say, I relinquish my middleweight title.
Hell yeah, because I don't want to get beat up by these big-ass dudes that'll kick my ass.
No, he's not Leonard. He's not Duran. You know, he's always
I heard this debate yesterday I was in Pasadena yesterday working at an event, and there were a couple of fight fans who I work with who first words out of their mouth was, why would you let a heavyweight punch you? That was the first thing they said. Then
not even De La Hoya.
The
De La Hoya at least tried, Lee.
The second words out of their mouth were, what do you think? And I said, you know what? This ain't going to be a Hagler-Leonard thing. That doesn't work in this world anymore. I don't think... first of all, if Leonard and Hagler fought today in Las Vegas, and they were the same Hagler-Leonard, we all know for a fact Leonard would lose that fight. And that's why I think Leonard rallies so hard with that video that he keeps throwing around YouTube, showing the 12 seconds of greatness in each round. I'm a Sugar Ray Leonard fan, okay? But at the end of the day, when he came back after the break, he fought more like Mayweather. He was smart. Before that, he got into wars and he nearly lost his eyesight.
And did.
And
eventually he did.
And eventually he did. So the early fights are the ones that did him in. He was tough enough and strong enough to go to war. Same thing with Mayweather. Earlier in his career, he wasn't afraid to take a punch and go toe-to-toe, but he figured out pretty quickly, hey, fighting on a bicycle is way better, and I win.
And just so I don't sound like a Floyd hater to anyone out there, I don't need the emails. Floyd doesn't need to go to middleweight. You know, it's a big stretch for him to
Floyd's
go
a bitch. He should go sign Triple G and show how much of a man he is. You know what? For your 50th fight right now, I guarantee Gennady Golovkin will sign to fight in September right now.
I think Triple G would sign at junior middleweight, Lee. I really do.
I think he'd cut off a limb and try to go lower than that if he could.
Yeah, I really do, because the fight is there for the taking.
By the way, it would gross more than Manny Pacquiao if they could pull it off in September. I don't think he could drop the weight, or they can come up with a catch weight. But I absolutely think that fight, another international fight, because of Golovkin's promotion, which is basically tied into the Klitschko promotion, that would make so much freaking euro dollar. And by the way, for those that don't understand, the euro dollar is worth more than the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So if you get an entire continent behind Golovkin, that's going to make more than the poor people in the Philippines who got the fight for free.
Yeah, for what, 10 million or 20 million?
Yeah, no, dude, you'd sell the right to a Euro distributor. I'm telling you, they'd sell that fight at $100 a throw.
And they would break the pay-per-view record.
Easily. And the easiest way to even make more money on it would be to stream it on the internet at $100 a clip. But HBO and Showtime wouldn't be able. HBO wouldn't be able to make any money on the deal, and Showtime wouldn't make any money.
Know, when Triple G's on camera out there is no me Mexican coming out of his mouth. That is totally for the American and South American audience.
I love the me Mexican thing. I love the fact that he thinks he's one of them. Here's my comment, dude. Go walk through Boyle Heights now that you live in Santa Monica. Whittier, Soto, there's a couple of alleys I can think off the top of my head as a guy who grew up in East LA. By all means, go walk down an alley and you can brush up on your boxing skills. I'd say bring a gun. Probably safer that way. He is not one of them. He will never be one of them. And if it comes down to it between Canelo and Golovkin, they're going to pick Canelo.
Yeah. He needs to understand that. I hope he's
I'm not even
surprised.
I wouldn't even be surprised if the Mexican. See, the problem with Cotto is he's Puerto Rican. I mean, that just turns the Mexicans
Oh yeah,
off.
no, they'll adopt Triple G on that.
Yeah, they would. They would.
Yeah, they will. They adopted Oscar De La Hoya. I know he's Mexican American, but still,
and they
he was hated before that Trinidad
fight.
He
grew up in East LA legitimately. The dude is straight East LA legit. Okay. When he actually made money with Bob, he lived in Montebello, no less. I mean, he didn't even move out of East LA. He went to Boyle Heights High School District, school district. Okay, same backyard parties. We grew up at the same time. He is as of the people as it gets. He came, Yeah, no.
They adopted him for Trinidad. He's seen a bunch of Mexican flags in that Trinidad fight, though. Hated him before that because of Chavez.
Well, there you go. Canelo Alvarez wins again. Shocker, shocker, shocker.
And wait, what we need to get into though, Lee, because it seems like they're pushing the Andre Ward fight. Not impressed with that fight right now, Lee.
Maybe when I get bigger.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Me Mexican fight all good people.
Andre Ward.
I almost thought he wanted to say, "Who's Andre Ward?" I really thought that was going to come out of his mouth. Going, if he was like of his mind, like a Mayweather, because Mayweather would have looked at somebody and went, "Are you out of your mind?" That's
no
too
doubt.
human.
Lee, he's
like
not
I
even
would have,
rated
I
right
would have
now.
literally looked into the camera and went, "Are you out of your mind? He's two human beings bigger."
Oh no, he's one division bigger, but Lee. He hasn't.
He's a light
not even rated
heavyweight
right now.
who cuts weight, for God's sakes. He's not a blown up middleweight. Don't kid yourself. This is a guy who was hanging and banging with some big ass beasts in the Super 8. It's not even a fair fight. He'd be 3 foot taller than Golovkin. I mean, what's the difference in height? It's got to be a minimum of almost a foot.
Well, Andre's 6 foot.
Okay. Golovkin's what? 5'5", 5'6"?
5'10", probably, maybe something like that.
Mm.
But Lee, you got to talk. We can't forget that Andre Ward hasn't been in a big fight since the Super 6. He beat Chad Dawson, who we now know had a concussion going into that ring, getting knocked out by Edison Miranda 2 weeks before the fight with Ward. And then he fought Edwin Rodriguez, which was nothing more than a fill-in fight to try to get out of that Guzan Promotions. So seriously, Andre Ward hasn't been in a huge fight for about 4 years, and I just find it. I cannot see myself right now saying Andre Ward would beat Triple G without Ward at least having a year of activity under his belt again, but not coming right back and fighting a man who looks like Triple G does right now and is fighting every 4 months. The guy's averaging a fight. That's just, to me, it's a stretch to say Andre Ward is his toughest match. I would give it to Carl Froch. I mean, I would give it to a lot of other guys. Even Saul Alvarez, I would say, is a better matchup right now than a guy who's fought seriously twice in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I completely agree. But,
I love Andre Ward to death, Lee, but his inactivity has really hurt him right now as far as where he is in the sport. He's older. I don't know where he is. He's in his 30s now, Lee. I mean, I do not know. The Carl Froch fight was in December of 2011. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. But, I mean, if we're going with age, Andre Ward's actually younger than Golovkin. He's younger. He's 31.
No, yes, but he with the inactivity and him being in his 30s, we don't know how he's going to respond to this now. Have we even
You know what? The only thing that makes sense, right? And the only reason that this fight might happen, I don't know if there's big money for Andre Ward anywhere else.
Right.
He's not gonna get a Cotto fight. That's not gonna happen.
Nope. Even so.
No, he's not gonna get Canelo for years.
I'll tell you one. Okay, we had Chavez. I know that's a bum fight, Lee, but we're talking pay-per-view. Bring Andre a little bit of money, $3 million or so. We have Chavez coming back to the super middleweight, and Bernard Hopkins says he wants a title now at super middleweight. He has options there. Once again, I don't think either of those fighters tell me that he's ready for Triple G, because even Hopkins, I mean, come on, the guy's now in his 50s. It's time to let go of that one too. Ward Hopkins should have happened about, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago. So I don't know if those two guys get him prepared for Triple G, but he will have options here and soon. I would just like to see him back in the ring before I start saying he's better than a guy who's fighting every 4 months and who's clearing out his division like Ward did. Ward beat a lot of guys in that Super 6 4 years ago. Triple G's been beating a lot of guys at the 160 division for the last 4 years himself. I believe last night was his 20th knockout in a row. And Lee, in his last 5 fights, 4 of those guys are ranked top 5. I mean, he is clearing out the division like a guy we used to see, a guy that Abel Sanchez is trying to mold his fighter after. So I love everything about Triple G right now. He is the favorite in the whole middleweight division. The guy is number 1. Lee, I don't know. My argument is, when do we put him number 2 or number 1 on the pound for pound list? Not only, and let's do this fast, not only does he have I think he has over a dozen title defenses now. He has 20 knockouts in a row. But let's not forget that Sergio Martinez, who was ranked top 3 before the Chavez fight, this is when Sergio was in the top of his prime, or at top of the middleweight division, he didn't want to fight him. They clearly tried to make that fight. He was ranked 3rd in the pound for pound ranking. He didn't want to fight him. When do we start giving Triple G credit for everything that he's done and what he hasn't done because of opponents?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a hater. I know Floyd is Floyd, man, but at a certain time, we have to keep the ball moving. And if Floyd goes back to fighting the Amir Khans of the world,
But he is.
exactly.
I mean, why don't
That's what I'm saying. When do we just say, okay,